Okay, welcome everybody. So today we're going to go through the flow we've been doing for August, and a theme of this time of year. There's lots of sunshine, lots of daylight around. Typically this year hasn't been so much of that, but the idea of having lots of energy and warmth around so we can move into some strong poses, some backbendy type poses, and lots of flow through the sequence as well. We're going to start comfortably seated, just getting a sense of how your body is today, feeling your way into your body, leaving the rest of the day outside the room, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Breathing in, lifting up through the crown of the head, lengthening the spine. And as you exhale, softening the shoulders back and down. Following that inhale and exhale. And one more. Next breath in, lifting up the chest, opening the front of the body, dropping the head back. As you exhale, tucking in the chin, rounding out into the spine. Coming forward again on the inhale, lifting up the chest, a seated cat stretch. And on the exhale, back into cat. So inhaling, open to cow pose, type back bend, spinal extension. And then exhaling back for cat, that spinal flexion. Let's go for a couple more here. Breathing in, breathing out. And again, inhale, exhale. And then as you come upright, turn towards the right hand side, bring the left hand to the knee, draw the right shoulder back. So it's firing up through your midsection and releasing the chest open. And bringing it round to the other side, turning the shoulders all the way, keeping the hips steady. Inhaling tall, long through the spine, exhaling into that twist. And then coming back to center, taking the left leg around to the side. So you've got right leg in front, left leg to the side or maybe slightly behind. And then folding forwards, trying to soften into the hips now. You might like to move up and down through the chest, or just stay forward in the fold. Or maybe play with some rotation through the shoulders. So feel your way in, find what your body needs today. And lifting up from there, we're going to bring it around to the other side. So just swapping the legs and letting the hips stay steady on the floor, evenly pressing down both sides of the hips if you can. But just working towards that if you're not there. Finding movement around the pelvis. And breathing in, breathing out. And lifting up the chest from there, coming over onto hands and knees. So bring your hands underneath shoulders and stepping the right foot through between the hands into a lunge. Drop the hips forward of your knee and exhale there, letting the hip open. Then breathing in, shifting the weight back into a hamstring stretch. Exhale, lowering chest towards the thigh. Inhale, shifting the weight forward again, maybe squeezing the butt to open out the front of the hip. Exhale, softening that stretch. Inhale, easing back. into the lunge. And coming back into that hamstring stretch one more time, pressing down into the floor, softening with the exhale. And this time as you come forward, press the left hand down, lift the right arm up for a twist, tucking that top shoulder back. Stretching the arms really wide, and then coming back down to the mat, changing the legs over. Inhaling, shifting the weight forwards, maybe lifting the chest a little, and then exhale, releasing your weight down towards the mat. Breathing in, sitting back, and exhaling there. And as we keep flowing through between the two, feel free to just move, adjust as you need to. Easing back. Bodies aren't neat and tidy, so we sometimes need to just shift around until we find the right feel of the stretch for you, what feels good for you. Coming forwards again. And then back once more. Breath in, breath out. And then shifting forward into that twist, squeezing the belly in a little and revolving the rib cage round. Hips stay steady. And then one more reach. And then taking it back, this time to down dog, stepping the feet to the back of the mat, hip width apart. Lifting up the heels as you lift the hips. Try and take that spine up and back in space. Pressing into the hands, lengthening through the arms. And as you softening the heels towards the mat, releasing into the backs of the legs, maybe one leg at a time. And from there, tucking the belly in, hips high, press into your hands, tiptoe forward into a fold, breathing out at the front of the mat. Inhale, drawing yourself up into extended mountain, bring the arms overhead, press your palms together, bring hands back to chest in mountain pose. Reaching the arms up again, extended mountain into forward fold, softening the knees, lowering belly to thighs. Taking the right leg back to lunge, bringing that knee to the mat, releasing the toes. Arms come up overhead, crescent lunge. Take a breath here as your shoulders drop back, hips open. Reaching forwards into down dog. We step back, lift the hips high, lengthening the spine. Take it through into plank pose, opening chest up above the hands. Option to drop the knees down as we lower chest towards the floor. Coming open to cobra or all the way to up dog with active legs. And bring it back into down dog, toes tuck under, hips are high. Right leg rises and steps forward into lunge. Help the foot through if it needs it. Coming into a forward fold, feet step together, hips high, head low. Breathing in, rise to the top, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to chest, mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left leg lunges back. Exhale, drop that knee, release the foot. Inhale, reaching arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, dropping down into that lunge a little deeper. Breathing in, hands press the floor, back to down dog on the exhale. Inhale through plank pose. Exhale, make your way down to the mat. Inhale, opening cobra or up dog, a back bend. Exhaling back into down dog. Inhale, the left leg rises. Breathing out, step that forward to lunge. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting open to the top, fingertips to ceiling. Bring hands back to chest, pressing into your feet. Reaching high, maybe a back bend feel here. And then forward folding, tucking the hips in. This time a halfway lift on the in-breath, extend the spine. Exhaling back into your forward fold. Inhale, taking the right leg back to lunge, breathing out as you drop down, grounded in the lunge. Reaching up and open. Try tucking the shoulders back and down. Then reach forwards, touch down, press back to down dog. Tucking belly back towards thighs, lengthening the neck. Touch in as you roll into plank pose. Bring it back down towards the floor, strong through your arms, elbows in. Lift open the chest, pressing into the tops of your feet. And tuck it back into down dog. Right leg rises and steps forward to lunge. Come into your forward fold. Breathing out at the front of the mat. Inhale, opening up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to your chest. Inhale, open up. Exhale, closing forward into fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stepping the left leg back to lunge, touching down again. Press down through the floor as you lift up, tucking the hips underneath, reaching back, then come forwards again. Press into your down dog. Breathing in, plank pose. Breathing out strong as you lower towards the floor. Inhale, open up the spine, the front of the body. Exhale, back, down dog. Inhale, taking the left leg high. Exhale, step that through to lunge. Inhale, forward fold. Exhaling at the front of the mat. Inhale, bring yourself up to extended mountain. Hands come back to chest. Reach tall again, full body stretch. And let that go into a forward fold. Taking a halfway lift and back into a forward fold. Stepping the right leg back to lunge. This time keeping the knee lifted, just drop the hips slightly. Reaching the arms up, high lunge. So tuck the hips forward, shoulders back. Breathing out there. Next inhale, we turn to warrior two. Spin the back heel down to the mat. Keep that left knee in line with your toes. Pressing into the feet. Lifting into your thighs. Opening up through the shoulders, through the upper body. And from there we come into triangle pose, straightening out both legs, shifting the hips back, chest forward, and tip into triangle. So you want to try and keep both sides of the body open, equally open. And pressing down into the floor to feel that lengthening through the legs. Peaceful warrior, bending the front knee, reaching the front arm up and open. So we take a side bend, trying to lift the side ribs away from the hips, but keep it really strong through that back leg. Keeping the front knee stacked above the ankle. And breathing open into the upper body. From there we come back to triangle pose, straightening out the legs again, hugging the hips towards the back foot and allowing those hip sockets to release. So the movement there allows you perhaps to come a little deeper into your pose. And returning to warrior two, bending the knee, eyes forward. We take an in-breath into peaceful warrior and an exhale down into lunge. Hands come to the mat. Lift the back heel. Press to down dog. Step both feet back, hips high. Option here to rest or roll out through plank pose, coming down to the floor through crocodile, inhaling open to up dog or cobra, and back into down dog. Tiptoeing the feet to the front of the mat, forward fold. Breathing in, come all the way up to the top, squeezing the belly in, bring hands back to your chest. Lifting up and open, tip forward into your fold. Taking the halfway lift, energizing the upper body, forward fold. Left leg steps back to lunge. Again, set your foundation really strongly, then use your strength through the legs to bring the upper body up and open. Turning wide into warrior two, finding your feet on the other side. And so a sensation of the hips dropping straight down towards the floor, shoulders stacked above hips. And then from there, triangle pose, reaching long, again keeping the body evenly open as we reach wide. And it might take a couple of breaths the first time you come to the pose. It might take a little time for the softness or the tension in the muscles to release and give you space to move. Breathing back up and open, come into peaceful warrior, that knee bend, that windmill of the arm up and open. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the neck. And again, keep pressing into the back leg. See if you can feel if that changes the upper body sensations at all, the energy through the legs. And then reaching back into triangle pose. And as you straighten out the legs, try and keep the knee joints soft still, especially if you know you tend to be slightly hypermobile. So those joints can easily overstretch in the wrong direction, and we want to keep them relaxed, keep the effort into the muscles. And bring it back up into warrior two, knee bend. Peaceful warrior, just to create that movement down into lunge, windmill the arms through to the floor, pressing back to down dog. Again, you might want to rest here, so just pause and breathe. Otherwise, come forward with me into plank pose, dropping down to the floor again, creating even more warmth and energy in the body as we lift open and bring it back into down dog. Tiptoe the feet to the front of the mat. Forward folding, inhaling, rising up to the top, exhale, hands to your chest, inhale, arms up, exhale, forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold, inhale, stepping the right leg back, set your high lunge, breathing, arms up, shoulders back. Warrior two, lift, turn into your warrior two. So again, finding that strength. Coming into triangle pose from there, lengthening the body, expanding outwards into the pose as you can. Peaceful warrior, drop the hips back down, reach open. So one more big breath in here. And then as you exhale, start to bring the arms forward, come all the way over the front leg into half moon pose. Back foot lifts off the floor. Try and lift that top shoulder, back, top hip rolls open. So your body is open to the side wall. press the heel away to activate through the hip. Make sure you can breathe in and breathe out. And we're going to touch down from there into triangle pose. Step wide, maybe spread the feet again, and then lean into your triangle pose. And just checking in, the back body is still strong. And this time we're going to lift both arms up to the ceiling, turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat, and come into a wide leg forward fold, softening the knees, releasing the hips, and finding yourself upside down, head drawing towards the floor, backs of legs lifting and opening up. And then rolling up from there, reach your arms up, up overhead, turning back into warrior two, facing the front of the mat. And from there, peaceful warrior, down into lunge, pressing back into down dog. And again, rest here or rest in child's pose if you need a breather, and then come through into plank if you want to keep moving. Down we go to the mat, elbows close to rib cage, tucking the shoulder blades right into your back. Bring it back into down dog. Feet walk towards the front of the mat. We forward fold. Inhale, lifting all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to your chest. Inhale, opening up again. Exhaling, forward fold. Taking a halfway lift and back into a forward fold. Left leg lunges back, one more round here. Pressing open into high lunge. Starting to feel that hip really opening up on the back leg. Then we turn wide into warrior two. And breathing out into the edges of your pose. Coming into triangle. Lengthening, sliding the hips towards the back foot. Peaceful warrior from there. Dropping the hips back down, reaching up and open. And one more in breath. And then we start to move into that floating half moon, that balance. So pressing down through the standing leg. Trying to, over time, work that back leg up parallel to the floor. And tucking that top shoulder back in space. And if that's not challenging enough, maybe bringing the eye gaze towards the side wall away from the floor. That's when the wobble starts to happen. And then stepping it back from there, coming back to triangle pose, step wide or shuffle the feet apart. Reach in and sink again, keeping that length in the spine. And then reaching the arms up to the top, turning to the long edge of your mat, forward folding again. Draw the belly in, allow the pelvis to move so the lower back softens. Perhaps imagining you have hands just resting on your lower back there to help you ease into that fold. Bring ourselves back to the top from there, lifting the arms up, opening it back into warrior two, turning towards the front of the mat. Once more we go open through Peaceful Warrior. Bring yourself down to the floor in lunge. Step your way back into Down Dog. Rolling it out through Plank Pose. If you're taking the flow, bringing it down towards the floor. Lifting up and open. And then taking it back into Down Dog. Feet walk to the front of the mat. Come into a forward fold. Inhaling, arms up overhead. And bring hands to your chest. We're going to pause here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bending the knees down. And coming into Eagle. The right leg wraps all the way around the left leg. Sink into your hips. The right arm comes underneath the left. Now if you're tight through the shoulders, you might grab the shoulders. You might be able to bring your palms towards each other. Try lengthening up, lifting the chin, maybe lifting the elbows just ever so slightly, creating more space in the back of your body. Now we unhook the right leg, step it behind you, press the heel down for Warrior One, bending the left knee. As you get grounded, arms open up, and then we want to square the hips, square the body towards the front edge of your mat. You might get a back bend feel here, the spine extending backwards. And preparing ourselves for Dancer's Pose. We're going to come into Warrior Three first. Tip forward, press through the floor, lift that back leg up. Reaching the weight over the leg, keep yourself steady. And then in your own time, making your way into Dancer's Pose. So reaching the right hand towards the right foot. Bring the knees back towards the midline, so closing everything into the center. And then try pressing the foot into the hand. Create some energy in the pose, some length into your muscles there. Maybe you can touch down anytime you need to, come back into it. And our next tricky transition is coming down into lunge. We're going to let the foot go, bring the hands next to the front foot, tuck the back foot way behind and come into a lunge. Let the hips drop down and then open into twist, turning towards your thigh. Feel free to bring that knee to the mat or keep the hips even. And start to revolve from the waist, open across the chest. And then bring that hand down, guide your way forward into a fold, stepping the feet together, letting yourself go. Rolling back up to the top, arms come together overhead, hands to your chest. Let's try that sequence on the other side. Bending the knees down, left leg wraps over the top of the right, squeezing out any daylight. Left arm comes underneath, so you have elbow towards knee. Breathing out into the pose. And from there, the leg unwinds first. Get grounded through the feet. Let the hips start to sink. Unfold the arms. Opening up into Warrior One. So you can feel how that hip on the back leg is more open here. Similar to where we're going to end up in the Warrior Three. Into the Dancer's Pose even. So let's start to go there, strengthening that front leg, shifting the weight forward. When you're ready, picking up that back foot. And see if you can use the strength here in the back of the hip to help lift the leg. And starting to come into Dancer's Pose, taking your time to find your way there. You might need to loosen up through the shoulder, that might help. Or think about the thigh muscle lengthening from the knee all the way through the hip, through the front of your body. I'm going to take 2 more breaths here. And then reaching it back down into the lunge, letting the leg go, sending the foot to the back, balancing your way down to the floor, landing lightly, setting your lunge and lifting open into your twist. Again, turning towards the thigh. Strong breaths into the body. And then once more, letting that go, coming back into plank pose this time. Step both feet back, keep the chest above the hands, and then we're going to drop all the way down onto your belly for Locust Pose. So if you've been using blocks, they can come out of the way. We're going to bring the chest towards the mat, bring the legs together, bring the arms down beside your body, and roll the hands out to face the outside. So thumbs come all the way around and up towards the ceiling, palms facing outwards. Then stretching your toes towards the back edge of your mat, trying to stretch your chest forwards towards the front edge of your mat, and feeling that energy create some lift. So you might find the legs start to lift away from the floor, the chest lift, big squeeze into the shoulder blades. Make sure you can breathe in and breathe out. And then we're going to let that go, turning your head towards the right hand side, releasing the arms completely. Just breathe into your body, let it rest. And then turning head back to the center. Option to come back to Locust Pose again, or reaching feet to hands or ankles, bow pose. So here we want to press the feet into the hands and use that to help create that tension to lift away from the mat. So what we're trying to find is the energy in the back of the body, but by activating those muscles and allowing openness through the front of the body. So softening the thighs, softening the hips and the shoulders. Remember, you don't have to push really hard into a pose. If today you want to take it easier, keep it lower to the ground, you can. But if you're feeling warm enough, if you've got the energy, see where you can take it. Even just for 1 breath or 2 breaths. And then we're going to let that go. Release the legs. Turn your head to the opposite side. Rest into the floor. Breathe into the lower back. Now bringing hands underneath the chest. Press up onto hands and knees. Threading the needle, right arm comes underneath the left shoulder and the right shoulder drops all the way down to the mat. Just let your body be supported there. Let the back open up after those back bends. And then pressing away from the mat, reaching underneath the opposite side, lowering that shoulder towards the floor. Just moving gently with your body here. If it needs something different this side, that's okay. And then lifting back through the center, pressing up. Hips sink back to heels. Just come upright for a moment. And then we're going to make our way around into a seated position. Again, if you like to have bricks supporting your hips, you might like to bring those in now. But we're going to sit with the legs out in front, hips tucked back behind you, bending the right knee, open it out to the side, keeping the left leg straight, and tipping forward from your pelvis into a half forward fold. So you might feel a bit of a stretch into the back of the thigh. We're trying to just cool the energy in the body now. Bring your focus a little deeper, the breath a little slower. And then lifting up the chest from there. We're going to keep that right leg tucked in and just cross the left leg in front. If you're flexible and you can bring that foot to your calf or your thigh, please do. And then we're going to draw the belly in and let the back of the body just round forwards over the legs. So allowing the spine to curve, the shoulders to open, the neck to be loose. And you might feel that releasing all the way down into your hips. And then lifting gently up from there, bringing the knees together, reaching the heels away. And this time we're going to bend the left knee and take it wide, sitting up that half forward fold. So reaching the chest towards your foot. Let's try and keep the spine longer here. Breathing in, breathing out. Lifting up the chest from there, and again keeping that left leg tucked in, crossing the right foot in front this time, so the legs across the opposite way, and then letting yourself fold all the way over the legs, releasing into that fold. And then gently bring yourself up into a seated forward fold, bringing the knees together, feet reaching away again into a long leg forward fold. We're going to reach the arms up to help draw the weight over the thighs. Just tucking in the chin, but trying to reach the chest forward again. So you're as if you're lifting the rib cage away from your hips. Just reaching into that lower back space. And taking some easy breaths now. And gently bringing yourself back up. And we're coming into meditation. Feel free to stay maybe in a cross-legged seated position, or roll all the way down onto your back, or onto the floor but rolled over onto your side, whatever feels right for your body today. And perhaps with warmer clothing if you need it. And taking a few moments to just adjust, release anything that needs releasing, so that your body can settle and rest easy on the floor. As you breathe into your body, start to feel perhaps some relaxation moving through. Guiding your attention to your breathing. Noticing the sensations of the in-breath and of the out-breath. And where do you feel that in your body? Noticing the breath, following that rhythm. Going to take a really deep breath in through the nose, fill up the body. Perhaps pause for a moment before letting it go really slowly. And now finding some movement back through the fingers and the toes. And whether you like to stretch yourself out long or hug the knees into your chest, just waking yourself back up. Taking a moment over onto your right hand side. Easing really gently back up into a seated position. I'm going to take a couple more breaths here together. Breathing in, breathing out, and breathing in, lifting the arms up overhead into one more stretch. And as you exhale, bring hands back to your chest. Welcome back into your day. And thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you.
Have a nice week.